All right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the recap. Michael D'Angelo and El Commandante Daryl Ortiz in the house. Thanks for covering last week, Big D. I
Of course.
appreciate it. I was on dad duty all week, but now I'm
Nice.
back to get ready for Backlash, which is already upon us, Big D, which is wild.
1 week away and literally like 6 days from the day of recording. So like, yeah, it's happening quick. Mother's Day weekend. So there you go. Celebrate moms on
I'm like,
Sunday for
whoops.
sure.
Next
Don't
week, next
forget.
week is next week is
Don't
Mother's
forget.
Day weekend.
Yeah.
Thank you for the reminder because I totally forgot. I'm like,
Don't forget about Mother's Day, guys. Yes, please.
might be in the doghouse or not.
It may
I
be
don't know.
backlash. Or you also for some
Backlash
backlash.
from
We'll
Mother's Day.
see.
It's the worst kind of backlash. And backlash for me is always like such an afterthought because it comes
It
right
is.
after WrestleMania. They'll set up like a feud that's like a stopgap, so you know nobody's going to drop a title. I think that's where I feel very underwhelmed by the matchups that are coming up for Backlash. Obviously, you got Roman and Jacob Fatu. You know Jacob Fatu's not going to win the title.
Yeah,
Like,
something's
you know
gonna
that.
happen.
So
Yeah.
it's and then of course Cody and what seems like we'll get to it. Seems like Cody versus Gunther is going to happen at Backlash. Like that's what with no setup at all, which is going back to almost like the no setup with Seth Rollins. Now there's no setup with.
Well,
Cody.
that's going to be the favor owed to him by Paul Heyman, a
Yeah,
title shot.
guess.
You know, I'm guessing.
Which I'm thinking, how does Paul Heyman have the ability to make that happen? I don't know.
He's Paul
Heyman. It's been an interesting week. Lots of things happening. Lots of releases. I think the newest, obviously, Motor City Machine Guns. This goes back to I just have to start with this little rant here.
Oh, the releases, yeah,
the releases and WWE hating on real tag teams because your favorite tag team is no longer employed by WWE, and yet R-Truth and Damian Priest are still tag champions.
And the New Day just got released
Paul,
too.
And the New Day, yeah. And what they'll say, the New Day didn't get released. They just couldn't come to an agreement. It's like, well, no, because they were asking them to take less money. And
not just that, they were jobbing them out at this point.
Yeah.
They weren't really doing anything with them. And it's just I don't blame them.
Yeah, I don't blame. Well, and you have the entire Wyatt Six is gone, and Gacy and Loomis were a good tag team.
Yeah,
you have now apparently two of the MFTs are gone. You've got JC Mateo is gone, and Tongaloa, which they weren't really using Tongaloa either.
No, they weren't.
So those two are gone, but the rest of the MFTs are still there. I guess they're going to emphasize.
Really, you're gonna have Tama Tonga turn on Solo soon, anyways, and then Talatonga's still staying there. So
they're so weird about these dropping these.
It is. It's just
like remember Kairi Sane had a whole rivalry with Asuka where we're building towards they're going to have a falling out, and then they just cut Kairi Sane. So. And they cut Alba Fire, so no more Secret Hervis. Chelsea Green's now hanging out with Tiffany. Like all the stuff that was fun and cool is completely dropped, and they haven't done anything with it. Because the New Day's always been fun. I like their heel turn. They just didn't do anything with it. The Wyatt Six I thought was one of the best things to come around in a long time. One of the best opportunities. Didn't do anything with it.
Yeah.
The Secret Hervis and Chelsea Green was hilariously fun. They're basically all gone. I mean, I think Piper Niven's still injured, but like you can tell they've abandoned that now. Alba Fire's gone, and they aligned her with Tiffany Stratton on SmackDown, so she's going to be Tiffany Stratton's lackey. And
basically
everything about this makes me go like, what are you guys doing? Like what's happening in TKO?
It sucks because it's really, especially now that we know that it's TKO running the show officially because of that leaked call. But I mean, it's terrible because you have all these wonderful talent that are honestly what's going to happen is they're going to thrive elsewhere. You know, it's only a matter of time 100%. Before we see a New Day show up on AEW and become champions as well and just destroy it and just kill it. And I already know it. It's going to help.
MJF already tweet or Instagrammed out, "It's a new day." Yes, it is. When they got cut, and I'm like, yeah, of course. Because why the heck wouldn't you go bring them in? Like they're going to be hot from the get go.
Yeah,
it's just it's so short sighted. Everything is so short sighted, and I don't. And there's too much emphasis on celebrity stuff. Too much emphasis on nepotism and The Rock. Like Raw and SmackDown were dominated by the NOI family tree because you had like the Usos were kind of like involved in like both shows heavily, and they're doing this big crossover with like because Jacob Roman's technically Raw, Jacob's technically SmackDown, so they're just kind of dominating all the storylines there, and then the NXT call ups. So they've kind of moved on from everybody. Like, oh, we're going to run with Ricky Starks. We're going to run with Ethan Page. We're going to like and what's the horribly named faction? Irresponsible. The irresponsible ladies. Who are
no.
they? Irresponsible ladies.
Irresponsible.
Oh gosh.
No, it's oh hell.
I got it written.
I just had it
somewhere.
on my notes too. Dang it! It's over here.
Yeah, I'm gonna scroll through.
Lethal,
like lethal intention or something like that. Whatever.
Yeah, they're called. Hang on, I got you.
Where are we? It's like
oh hell, where did it go?
Lethal Intent. No, I don't know. They're called
those
something.
guys.
Those guys. It's JC.
Those gals.
Yeah, JCJ or whatever her name is.
Yeah, JC Jane.
JC Jane and her lackeys is what we'll basically call at this point. So the whole thing is just, I don't know. Like I've never seen them abandon so many storylines so fast and just do NXT call ups and say we're going to run with this. And the sad thing is, in a year, all those NXT call ups.
Fatal influence.
Fatal influence. There we go. As opposed to the non-fatal influence.
Mm-hmm.
What a fatal influence. Like what's the etymology of that? Like, what are you saying? Like, we're gonna influence you to die? Like,
never know.
Like, we'll just talk you into it. We're fatal influence. Like, we won't actually do anything to you, or we're just gonna influence it. Like it's such a dumb name. But anyways, what happened on Raw that was consequential, Victor?
Not too much. So we had Seth Rollins out, actually coming out, calling out Braun Breaker. And of course they had Braun Breaker does come out with Paul Heyman. Seth lays out the betrayal. Braun Breaker fires back, saying he only used Seth to get access to Paul Heyman. And then there's a lot of like Steiner Brothers backlash on that, calling him, Seth calls him Baby Steiner, challenges him at Backlash. Braun Breaker accepts. This probably, honestly, it was to the point. It was really just doing what it needed to do, just kind of reminding everyone of the history between them, and then showing that Braun Breaker is a generational talent because of his dad and his uncle. Obviously, the Steiner brothers are Hall of Famers. I did like the line when Seth Rollins told him that he's not even number 2 in his own family. Like, that was great. Yeah. Like, that was actually pretty good. So, I mean, it's gonna be a good match. Again, it's gonna be a Backlash. So,
yeah, I don't know about doing it at Backlash. Like, this is where
this is like a SummerSlam feud.
Building this, yeah.
Unless it's gonna end like in a DQ or something. Maybe Bronson Reed's gonna come back from injury.
Maybe. Like, there's only shenanigans that can happen here, because it's weird for them to do the big final blow off match at Backlash, because again, such an underwhelming thing. And they had the opportunity to have them have a match at WrestleMania, and they just they just kept it on it and said, hey, let's kick it down the road. We'll kick it all the way down the road to SummerSlam. Like, really build something here versus just let's throw it together and get it done at Backlash. Seems like a huge misstep, but TKO makes a lot of missteps lately, so you never know.
Yeah. Yep. After that, we had Penta versus Rusev for a non-title match, I believe is what it was. It was a non-title match. Ethan Page came out to just kind of watch along at ringside. And of course, Rusev hits his Machika kick. Penta kicks out, rolls him up for the win. Javon Evans runs in post-match to, pretty much have a 4-way brawl. It's Penta and Javon Evans and Rusev versus Ethan Page. Not versus, I'm sorry, Rusev teaming up with Ethan Page. And it looks like they're having some sort of alliance there between the two. So we'll see what happens with that. And it's probably going to be a fatal 4-way for the IC title, I'm guessing, at SummerSlam, but I wouldn't be surprised if we have a tag match set up for
I feel like it's going to be a tag match at Backlash. Like, when I saw that, I'm like, they're just moving people into their positions for Backlash.
Yeah, although I'm glad Ethan Page is getting a nice push. Ethan Page is good. People have said he's like the WWE's version of MJF. I wouldn't go that far, because MJF is one of the best, hottest heels in wrestling right now, I feel.
That's a pretty that's a little bit of a stretch.
I agree. I heard that and I heard that somewhere and I was like, no. I mean, good compliment, but no.
Yeah, like, come on, let's be realistic here. But he's good. He's good. Yeah. I just feel like, man, are they going to throw him out to a hot start and then he'll lose all of his momentum, and in 8 months he'll be like an undercard on his way out the door? You never know.
But we'll see what happens in this bumpy road that is WWE. Yeah. And then Becky came out. Becky Lynch came out after that as the Intercontinental Champion, got a promo bearing AJ Lee's reign. Then pretty much issued an open challenge. Io replied, the match does happen, but Asuka interferes. Io gets distracted. Becky Lynch hits the manhandle slam, gets the win. And then Asuka attacks Io post match and gets her in the Asuka lock, in which Io taps. So a lot happening with that storyline. Obviously, the WWE reminding the crowd that Io Sky is still a very much worthy contender for that IC title. It's not just Becky Lynch, which is good. I'm glad they got her out of the tag division, and now obviously she can't tag with Rhea Ripley anymore. But Rhea's still tagging. We'll talk about that later. But we'll have Io vie for that IC title, which I think is a good look for her. She should be able to get that. But then obviously Asuka is going to be an obstacle to overcome. They're going to wrap up that feud, I'm assuming, at Backlash. We'll see.
Yeah, they did the official announcement, Asuka versus Io Sky at Backlash. And it was like, and I was like, oh, okay, so they do have a match. And again, because they're trying to move fast because it's next week. You did have during that match, you had the "We Want Kyrie" chants towards the end.
Oh, it was thunderous. That's what I was going to note too. Is that you heard the "We Want Kyrie," which is great. I'm hoping it happens, but I mean, who knows? We'll see. Maybe TKO will finally be like, okay, never mind.
Well, I'm like, are they going to bring her back at Backlash? Like, yeah, that's what I'm wondering is if there will be enough upheaval, because she's the one that's getting most of the fan support, like out of the releases. This was like the most surprising, or the one that people are more outraged about, similar to R-Truth. So I'm wondering, do they now back up on it and then re-sign her in time for Backlash so that she comes out and attacks Asuka, and then they can actually pay off that storyline?
Yeah, I'm hoping. I'm hoping, because I love Kairi Sane. I felt like Kairi Sane was so underutilized during her tenure in WWE. Like, she was so underutilized, and I don't know if it's because the backstage producers didn't really understand her gimmick, but it's like, I mean, she is an amazing talent, and I hope they bring her back. So we shall see.
She is, and her and Asuka as the Kabuki Warriors were a really good tag team.
They were.
So I don't really understand. I don't really understand them releasing her. Like, it didn't make sense.
Yeah. Speaking of tag teams, we had a Joe Hendry concert. That was his WWE debut, which I thought was great. He was doing his little song and got the whole crowd singing "Fire Logan Paul," which I thought was awesome. I support that 1,000%. And of course, that gets the Vision to come out and get, he starts fighting with them. And I love the way they did how he got smacked and he got turned around, and then he was doing his little, like, he's going to turn back around again, but he was pissed. Like, I love that.
Turned back around, but he was angry. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. And so he came out and he held his own for a little bit. Then eventually the numbers game got the better of him. Then, of course, out come the Street Profits again to attack Logan Paul and Austin Theory, which that's going to be, I mean, hey, they're a legit tag team. I'd rather them hold the tag titles, to be honest with you, but we'll see what happens. Obviously, that's what they're building towards.
Because I keep forgetting that Austin Theory and Logan Paul are the tag champions. I keep I'm like, who's the tag champions on Raw? Like, is it still the Usos? Like, I was thinking about that, and I'm like, they are so forgettable as tag champions,
which is a bummer, because Austin Theory is a great wrestler.
Yeah,
Austin Theory is great as a solo. I think he's a solo wrestler, not a tag, but
he's great as a solo. And as much as I hate Logan Paul is a great in-ring worker.
Mm-hmm. He
does a really good job, but I just don't like Logan Paul. Like, I don't think he's great on the microphone. Like, even when he came out and he was like, "No, you can't yell for me to be fired," and he was like
it was a tantrum,
and it was like almost like, it was like a little tantrum, but it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. It didn't seem
because he doesn't know what else to say. Like, he can't come up off the top of his head. That he's not quick-witted like that to, like, say something back or, like, snap back or
say
something
like, clever. Yeah, he just
like, I feel like if he would have,
like, oh.
Yeah, because if you think about it, like, I see it as, like, if he would have, let's say Joe Hendry would have done that to somebody like Grayson Waller. Grayson Waller would have been, like, having all kinds of comebacks to him and talking back. I mean, Grayson Waller is also underutilized, but, like, he's great on the mic.
Grayson Waller, Grayson Waller or Kit Wilson. Like,
Kit Wilson too
can go out there. And he does that shtick a lot, where he's got to be the super heel, that he's kind of slimy and he's kind of stuck up, but it comes off as fun and enjoyable. It doesn't sound like I get the, man, this guy should go away. Like, he's got to leave kind of feeling whenever he starts.
And I like that Joe Hendry, that they tapped into that with Joe Hendry's spot, because he was like, a lot of, I mean, the whole crowd was like, they had their phones out, they're like waving, which is great. It was good.
which was great that they were singing along. But his initial reaction when they came out was a little muted from the crowd, and I was like, oh man, like this is a perfect example of they waited too long to call him up to the main roster. He was so hot when he was at the Royal Rumble. He was so hot when he had the WrestleMania with Randy Orton, and then they took him and put him on NXT for a year. And then now they're finally pulling the trigger on him a year later, coming off of this next WrestleMania, which he wasn't a part of.
They kind of let the wind come out the sails on that one.
They let the wind out, and it was nice to see. Hey, Joe, he obviously used his charisma, and he got out there and he does the song thing and he gets people into it. So he's always done. He built himself over like 10 years. I'm just like, I feel like they missed an opportunity that they should have called him up sooner. And they waited too long to pull the trigger, but we'll see. Yeah, I agree. I'd rather see the Street Profits. Bearing in mind, Austin Theory and Logan Paul are your tag champions, and the Motor City Machine Guns are unemployed for the time being. So
so that's not going to be very long. I know.
Of course not. They have easy options, but it's just like, come on, like
it's a shame.
No justice.
Yeah, I agree. After that, we had a backstage segment. They're showing Grande Americano asking Rey Mysterio for a match just to kind of warm him up for his mask versus mask match. I like that they're intertwining the AAA storylines now too. I know Undertaker is helping produce those, so I think that's great because it's been helping AAA. And so you had that match come up. Rayo and Bravo were ringside to watch, and of course, he was going to insert the steel plate. I think Bravo was going to insert the steel plate into Americano's mask, and out comes the original Grande Americano, and he showed up, and of course he took the plate out, and the brawl ensued, and Rey Mysterio gets the win through the distraction. So the mask and the mask versus mask match, I like that they're explaining it to the general public of the importance or the significance of this type of match. I know the casual fans probably going to think, well, yeah, we're just going to finally know, like we're going to get confirmation of Chad Gable or Kaiser. I hope it's Chad Gable, because
I think it will be,
because Ludwig Kaiser like legit like knows Spanish and like goes in Spanish, and like he's just so over with the crowd in AAA and in WWE. Like I love it, and so I'm pretty sure it's going to be Chad Gable's going to lose his mask, but we'll see.
Yeah, I hope so. And I will say at this point, though, on Raw, we had too many interference, like too many shenanigan interference finishes, because you had it in this one with like all the chaos happening outside of the ring. You had that with Ethan Page ringside. Yes, Penta still won, but there was distraction and there was the pylon. You had that with Becky Lynch, with Asuka kind of interfered and allowed Lynch to retain. And this continued on SmackDown as well, where I was like, why is it that we have like so many like interference finishes like on both shows? So that was a bit of a bummer to me that they keep going back to the well for that. It's like, let's have interference or let's have a beatdown. Like post-match beatdown, bad guys beating down the good guys thing happened way too much.
Yeah, I agree. But after that, speaking of beating on people, we had Obafemi come out and destroy Grayson Waller, made quick work of him. And really, this was more just to set up the Obafemi Open Challenge, which is a good way. I think it's a good way for them to say we don't want to put you in the title picture yet because it's busy with other people, but we need a placeholder for now. So we're just gonna let you squash like anybody and everybody that wants to step up to you. So we'll see.
I don't know how I feel about this. Like when I saw it, I'm thinking this guy, you strapped a rocket to his back with the Brock Lesnar thing,
and now you're like, hold on.
Yeah, it's like, hold on, time out. Now you're just going to do an open challenge for any scrub that wants to go get squashed by you, which nobody should answer the open challenge. It's Obafemi. You'd have to be crazy to answer the open challenge, which obviously you have Grayson Waller answering this week. But going forward, you shouldn't see that. Everybody should be like, oh, we don't want to be a part of this. Nobody wants any part of Obafemi. How long are they going to drag this gimmick out and just have him be squashing people before they give him something important to do? It's like just and I think I agree. The problem is you got Cody Rhodes with one title. Now you've got Roman Reigns with another. Like as far as the world titles, which he should be competing for, and it doesn't feel like they're moving those titles anytime soon. So are you going to make him squash people for a year, and then make him the IC champion, or like what do you do here?
I'm curious to see where this goes. I'm wondering if they're probably going to start doing it as like like backstage segments where people inadvertently sign themselves up for the open challenge, like kind of like how Grayson Waller did. I wonder if that's what they're going to do. But
maybe
we'll see. After that,
Waller got squashed in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, less than 5 minutes. It was quick.
It was fast. Yeah.
After that, we have Roxanne Perez returning to her hometown of Laredo, tagging up with Raquel to face Bailey and Lyra Valkyria. We also had Liv Morgan distracting at ringside, which allowed Roxanne to hit the Pop Rocks for the win. So, of course, hometown win. The audience was going crazy for her. Obviously, they're proud of her, which I think is great. Well overdue. And I just feel like Bailey continues to feel like she's just like on the outside of everything like meaningful, right? Like she has a lot of equity, or a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? A lot of potential in her. Yeah. And it's just underused and underutilized. So I worry that, they don't know what they're going to do with Bailey. So it's a shame, but it's a win for the Judgment Day.
Lyra and Bailey have survived this round of cuts.
Yeah,
like to be totally honest, with the way that they do things, because Bailey's great and she's been great for a long time. It almost feels like the writers run out of stuff for them to do, and they go, "We don't know how to use them," and so they'd rather jettison them than write a good story for certain people.
I agree. Yeah. After that, we had the main event segment, which was Roman Reigns coming out to talk to Jacob Fatu. He called him out as if he. He pretty much dismisses him. He couldn't even, he was saying, I guess, because Jacob had said that Solo brought him in, and he was like, who do you think signed off on it? He pretty much dismisses him, saying that he couldn't even get Solo a cup of coffee. Like, Solo couldn't get a cup of coffee delivered to the building. Jacob Fatu, of course, fires back. He says, he's been grounded for 12 years. Was broke, suffered, and not one Uso or Roman ever called him. Only Solo did, and Roman keeps, of course, talking down to him. Then finally, he snaps. He hits the Tongan death grip on Roman, which I hadn't seen in years. I was surprised to see the Tongan death grip, which is cool. I like that he's using that, and that's probably going to be his new finisher. They talked it up on SmackDown too. So
they talked it up on SmackDown a little too much, because they're like, the Tongan death grip, like, that's a last resort. And I'm thinking, wow, if it's that effective, you should use that every time. Have you ever heard of a wrestling move that is so powerful, so effective, like you cannot be stopped? Why would you go?
The Iron Claw, man.
Don't use it. Don't use it. Well, Iron Claw, but it's also like, are you really going to go, that's a bridge too far. We're not going to use that move. It's too devastating. I'm like, I would open with that in every match.
Seriously.
He's got a 10,000 day title reign because he uses the Tongan death grip every time.
Yeah, another thing to note too is when Jacob Fatu had him down, instead of holding the title over him, he actually just threw the title at him, which I feel was more. I feel it suits Jacob Fatu a little bit more, because it's more of like a war call, right? Than it is like, I want the title. Like, he's like, nah. He's like, I want to hold your title while I'm going to stand over you, whatever. I think it's going to be very interesting. It's a very different distinction, because most people grab the title and stand over the champion and hold the title over their head, right? And he just kind of threw it at him and was like, nah, I want to finish this fight. Exactly, I want to fight is what it is. So
well, and he also said kind of originally, like, he doesn't want the title. He needs like really everything that comes with the title. Mm-hmm. So for him, it's not even about the title. Yeah, it's like he needs the lifestyle, the things that it affords,
the bonuses,
the security, the bonuses, the money, and this and that. And so for him, the title itself is an afterthought, which I think that's kind of a cool theme for him, that he's looking at it from this kind of street level perspective. I just know, like, okay, so what are you going to do here? Are you going to have this be Bloodline 2.0? Obviously, Jimmy and Jay are going to get involved in this.
Like, they are, but you also had them on the phone.
Yeah,
they had like a little segment going on WWE's, I think it's their TikTok or Instagram story, where Jacob's on the phone with somebody, and he's like kind of getting real heated and stuff. So there's speculation as to who that could be. Obviously, maybe a new debuting wrestler.
Maybe.
Hopefully, it's not Pat McAfee. So we'll see.
Don't hold your breath. I don't know. We'll see.
It's Stephen A. Smith. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
It's just one of those things where at this point,
maybe it's Zilla.
Speculate. It's gonna be someone that everyone's gonna go, yeah, is it Zilla Fatu? Who's it gonna be? And it's gonna be like somebody so underwhelming when it actually comes out. It's like, psych, we got you. That's what will probably end up happening.
It was The Rock.
It was The
I
Rock.
did it for The Rock.
Speaking of doing it for
but
The Rock,
that was Raw essentially. So yeah, I mean SmackDown was there.
Was kind of there. Like SmackDown was very by the book. It had Cody Rhodes coming out to open the show, doing a promo saying he was finally cleared for competition and what's next. And then Ricky Saints from NXT debuted because they had already announced that he was going to debut, which has also kind of ruined it a little bit because they said, by the way, Ricky Saints is going to be on SmackDown next week. So when he walked out, it wasn't really much of a surprise. He did the standard heel promo stuff. He's young, he's rich, he's handsome. Everyone wants to be him. He's leading the revolution. Welcome to Friday Night Saints, which that was a little weak. Friday Night Saints sounds more like Friday Night Aints. Like you can turn a phrase on that one pretty easily.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's not Monday Night Rollins by any stretch. It just doesn't roll well. It made me cringe a little. And then Cody was like, well, I'm clear for action. Let's do it. And then they had a match, which was not the main event. I thought it was going to be the main event.
It was like a mid-card match.
They threw it like in the middle where I was like, oh, really? Okay, that's interesting. So they had a match coming up. Then we had Fatal Influence, the flashback to the previous week, and you had Charlotte Flair versus JC Jane next. And then Rhea offered to back up Charlotte and Alexa, and they were like, nope, for reasons. Charlotte doesn't trust Rhea Ripley. And then, of course, we got an interference finish from the Fatal Influence. Of course, we got a post-match beatdown. And, of course, we got Rhea Ripley running down to help. And the funny thing is I said all that, but as the match was starting, I was like, we're going to have a interference finish, post-match beatdown. Rhea's going to run down to help.
Yeah, because she already tried to help, and she said no, and now she's like, okay.
So she's going to be like, oh, come down. And then there's the begrudging handshake. So this is clearly leading to like a triple threat match.
It's a 6-woman tag match at Backlash.
It's a triple threat 6-woman tag. I was like, clearly they were doing a 6-woman tag setup for this, which was painfully obvious, and that's what we're getting. I assume Fatal Influence is going to win because it wouldn't make any sense for them to not.
They will, and Rhea can't take that pin, so it's probably going to be Charlotte or Alexa. Yeah, that's going to take the pin. Yeah.
Then you had The Miz, the best part of SmackDown, which is anything with Danhausen. You had Miz and Kit Wilson trying to capture Danhausen with the case of free human monies. And then the case was supposed to explode. When he opened it, it didn't explode. And then, of course, when he got the free human monies, which the number kept changing, it was 400, then it was 4,000, then it was $40,000. So the amount of money kept changing every time they talked about it. And then, of course, he just walked off with the money, and the Miz opened the case and blew up in his face. Oh, Danhausen, you're the only thing that's keeping SmackDown afloat at this point.
Yes.
And then we got the continuation of that later. You had R-Truth and Damian Priest versus Fraxium for the tag titles. It was a good match. It was fine. It was one of those things where I'm like, it's the disappointment around, again, R-Truth and Damian Priest are your tag champions, but Motor City Machine Guns aren't good enough to be in WWE. Like everything was kind of tinged by that. As I watched this week. But it was good. Of course, Priest and R-Truth were saying there was another post-match attack from the MFTs. They came down and just attacked them. And then I thought it was like, oh, they want the tag titles, but then they really didn't. It just turned into Solo grabbing the mic to call out Jacob and said Jacob was a dead man walking. This felt like, I was like, we're just segueing into a Jacob segment. Like, this has nothing to do with the tag titles. Okay.
They just wanted to clear the ring, and they did. I guess it was like a power move for Tala Tonga to take out 4 people, including your tag team champions.
Yeah. So, blew out the tag team champions. And then we got the Usos basically came out and were like, hey, leave Jacob alone. He's off limits. Roman wants him. And then they just went back and forth. Talked about the sacred tongue and death breath being a last resort, which we talked about before. Again, if it's that good, use it every time. And of course, they weren't going to lay off Jacob. Not my tribal chief. Like we heard that from Solo. Not my president. So this all set up a tag match for later on. Is what this was really doing, which I believe was the main event.
It was,
and it was just like, oh my gosh, like. It just was like an odd segue, and the whole thing felt a little unnecessary. I'm like, why are we doing this whole like Solo thing? Just is it giving people stuff to do on the way to Backlash?
Seriously, it's I think they're just trying to fill. They're trying to tie up the. I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to say like, is Solo luring Jacob back into the fold? Is Solo going to join the bloodline? Is he, after he loses, is he going to go with the bloodline? Is he going to create his own faction? I think that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to say like, where is he going to go? Who's he going to align with? But he's trying to show that he can handle it on his own. So I feel like that's what's happening here, because you have two factions fighting over him to try and get him, because obviously he's a good foot soldier and that's all they see him as. So I see it as Jacob's going to get his own help, which we kind of saw a little bit of it later on in the backstage segment.
With Royce Keys. And
with like, Royce Keys telling him, I got your back or whatever, which is fine because they're from the same area together. They know each other very well. They've traveled in the Indies together and all that good stuff, which is great. It's great. But that makes you think that, okay, well, is he going to have his own faction? Which I mean,
so do we need a Bloodline 3.0? Like
I wouldn't say it's. I don't say it's a bloodline. I think it's good. Well, because it can't be a bloodline because Royce Keys isn't Samoan.
Yeah, but I mean, JC Mateo is not technically part of their bloodline either, and he was
not part of theirs, but he.
Yeah, but he's like
in TKO's eyes, he was still.
He's like, you're all together.
It's like they do with us Mexicans. They're just like, hey, you guys are cousins eventually. No, we're not. It's okay.
Well, that's where I was like, when they were doing the whole my family tree, and they brought in JC Mateo, and I was like, he's not related to you. What are we talking about, your family tree? That's why he's not employed now, I guess, because he's not really. There wasn't any real.
Because if he was, he wouldn't have gotten released.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, if he was part of the actual family tree, he'd still be there. The Royce Keys thing is funny because that was like the exposition machine when we were watching it, where he's like, hey, remember, man, when we did that show and then we drove all night so we could still work a 12-hour shift at the docks? Like it's like when you watch like a B movie and they're trying to give you like, hey, exposition, these guys know each other. I'm like, nobody says, do you remember that one time we drove to that show and then we went 12 hours to go work on the docks? Yeah, good times. It's like, no, you would have forgotten about that. There's nothing super memorable if that was a regular part of your life. So they did that exposition machine to kind of build a relationship between those two. But it's fine. We'll see how they play this one out. They may just completely forget about it and keep Royce Keys doing his Obafemi impression on SmackDown, which is going to just be squashing people, it looks like, for the foreseeable future. We'll get to that. Yeah. You had after this, we had Cody Rhodes versus Ricky Saints. Relatively short match because it also did have a long commercial in the middle of it.
It did.
Cody hit the Crossroads and one clean as a whistle, which is like, I get it. Ricky Saints is called up. Ricky had spots where he looked good. And you could tell they were doing this to be like, oh, he's a little too arrogant. He's leaving too many openings. Of course, Cody was going to capitalize on it. And so that was the theme that kind of played out as to why he lost clean, which is fine. I'm good with clean losses. I think you need to have more of them. Mm-hmm. But to continue the streak, you had the post-match attack.
Well, hold on. Before that, real quick, you know what this reminded me of? This reminded me of Carmelo Hayes' debut.
Yeah, similar.
Because he went at Cody Rhodes, and Cody Rhodes said, if you come at me, you better not miss. And he's like, I'm him. I won't miss. I never miss. And he lost clean.
Yeah.
In the same amount of time, basically.
Roughly.
So
that's true.
Essentially, so Ricky Starks will be
Ricky
your
Saints
future.
Is going to be
Ricky Saints. Ricky Saints is going to be your future U.S. champion soon. We'll see.
Yeah,
but which is not bad. Not bad.
Not bad. And Carmelo Hayes is great. And
I love Carmelo Hayes. Yeah.
Like I feel like they've underutilized him a lot as well. And I
nowhere on TV this week either.
Yeah, like nowhere to be seen. So that's a bit of a bummer. And then it's the same thing with Ilya Dragunov wasn't on TV this week either. Like you have such really great talents that kind of fall by the wayside for all these other NXT call-ups. So. Interesting times, but
the match was good.
The match was good. It was solid. It did what it needed to do. Yeah, the post-match attack with Gunther to abruptly set up what is obviously going to be a match with.
Is it me? Is it me or did like Gunther barely lock in the sleeper and Cody passed out like in like seconds?
Well, he had that long match against Ricky Saints. Oh, wait,
I mean, Jesus! All you have to do is pop his windpipe. He would have freaking collapsed. I guess. Like what the heck?
That's what I was like. Man, maybe these doctors need to be reevaluated for medically clearing.
Right?
Because he was just like out.
It was like it was seriously like a minute, and he was like already out. Like he's out. I'm like, he's out. What do you mean? He just got the hold on him.
It's only a 3-hour show. We don't have time for a long.
Cody, you can't fight out of it. You can't fight out of it.
We need more commercials. yeah, they probably could have spent a little bit more time having Cody put up a fight. Clearly Gunther's not going to beat Cody for the title, but this is just one of those, like, let's find something for Gunther to do with no setup or no explanation. I'm sure we'll get some explanation maybe next week on SmackDown, right before Backlash.
Yeah, because Gunther's supposed to. He got advertised for his appearance on SmackDown,
Yeah.
so we'll see.
So random Gunther attack. Then you had the second best part of SmackDown with Danhausen out to the ring. And of course, he's in the Danhausen mobile. That's like his big thing now. Miz was out and then admitted that he was cursed and then agreed to be the mentor to lift the curse. Kit Wilson came out, interrupted, was trying to stop them from shaking hands and sealing the deal. Kit did a poem. The whole thing was fun. It was like,
it was great. Yeah, this was a fun segment.
This is a fun segment. It's like I love the lighthearted stuff. Danhausen's obviously a lot of fun. He's totally over with the crowd. They shook hands. Of course, the Miz double across Danhausen, which is kind of weird because he clearly knows that he is cursed. Like he clearly believes it, but he decided that double crossing Danhausen was a good idea. And then they beat him down, hit the skull crushing finale, and an elbow drop, and it was like beat down complete. And then Danhausen backstage later was like talking to Nick Aldis, and so he's trying to get a tag partner for Backlash to face against Miz and Kit Wilson, and we'll see who the mystery partner ends up being,
which is going to be very interesting to see. Like I think it's so funny too because I think he tweeted out to Danhausen. I think he was tagging like Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Stone Cold, and offering them. I think he said offering them like $400 to come out of retirement to help him out, and it's going to be fun.
Good. I hope they do something fun with it.
I do. I hope. I know people are going to get mad at this, but I hope it's something silly. Like I really do. I hope it's something that's just, over the top, just Danhausen, right? I don't want it to be like, I mean, who knows? Maybe he does get like a friend to kind of help and beat down, but I don't want it to discredit Danhausen because Danhausen is a good wrestler. Like he can actually wrestle, and I think people have been seeing glimpses of it, but he is actually a really, really good wrestler. So I hope that it's something that can accent him a little bit better. I hope it's not just like he doesn't just get like Obafemi and like Obafemi just wins the match for him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just hope it's not
the first thing
like
I thought is because they don't really have Oba locked up doing anything. So I almost feel like, is that going to be it? Is Oba going to come down and squash them both? And that's that. And they're going to stand in the middle of the ring and do the "you are cursed" thing and then leave. Like I half expect that to happen.
Yeah.
It'd be lazy. It'd be real lazy. Like there's a lot of cool directions they could go with it, but I'm like, they have almost no time to set this
He could
up.
get Joe Hendry. Oh, Joe Hendry's on Raw. Never mind.
Yeah. I mean, it's a pay-per-view. You can, what pay-per-view? It's a PLE.
PLE, man. We can't say pay-per-view
crossovers, anymore. PLEs. Like you can.
Because it's not pay-per-view anymore. It's pay-per-month.
Pay-per-month.
See what I did there?
Unless you're using the VPN going through.
Hell yeah.
UK. That's what I'm talking about. After this, we got Royce Keys versus Angel and Garza. Santos Escobar also got cut, by the way.
Yeah, he did.
So, which is
weird because he was being featured in AAA.
He was being featured in AAA, and he was leading Los Garza, and they did all those vignettes. Like again, they had something really cool there with the vignettes they were doing with him and Los Garza, and it was like the telenovela style. Like it was cool stuff, and they just dropped it all. And they didn't do it. Like it's like the writer team has like the attention span of an 8-year-old. So they stopped doing that. And basically it was just a squash match. So I'm like, Royce Keys has turned into like Obafemi of SmackDown, where he's just going to be squashing people every week until they figure out what to do with him, is how it feels. Because it really wasn't competitive, but it was fine. It was fun. It was just like, it did feel a little rinse and repeat from Raw, where
it was just like a blink and you'll miss it kind of moment. Yeah. And I mean, it was fine.
Yeah, it was fine. After this, we had Tiffany and Chelsea Green, as we said before. Alba Fire is gone, so there's really no Secret Hervis anymore.
Yeah.
So I guess they're a pair now. You had Sami Zayn, things that didn't need to be in here. Sami Zayn and the giant gingerbread man in the ring. Long Sammy rant about Trick Williams. Then he attacked the gingerbread man. I honestly thought that the gingerbread man was going to be Trick Williams. He looked gigantic.
I did too. I thought there was somebody, but then I remember I saw them carrying it out. So I'm like, because there's no way you could have snuck in through the crowd like that. Like,
yeah. Well, and that's where I was like, when I first saw it standing there, I was like, is that going to turn out to be him? That would have been better than what happened.
Or Lil Yachty.
Yeah, like it would have been better than what happened because he just attacked the gingerbread man costume and beat it up. And for some reason, Trick Williams ran out to say, to
And
say
then throws up the X to get
the
medical.
the gingerbread mannequin. There's throws up an X for the gingerbread mannequin. And then later on in the show, you had Joe Tessitore share the sad news the gingerbread man had died. Like everything about it was like, guys, like I like stupid stuff, but this you didn't need to waste. You
No,
could
we're
have
gonna
given him
have a
a little bit
funeral for
more
the
time.
gingerbread man next week.
Oh, I know. Like the level of absurdity. This for me just wasn't fun absurdity. It was just dumb. to where I'm like, okay, like come on, clearly he just beat up a mannequin. You're doing all this thing where they announce the death of the gingerbread man. This is the worst part, and I love all the Danhausen stupid
Well,
things.
no,
But
see what's
no,
gonna happen.
this is just dumb.
They're gonna have their match at Backlash. It's gonna be a grudge match, right? And Lil Yachty's gonna come out in the gingerbread man suit and resurrect the gingerbread man.
Resurrect the gingerbread man.
Yes,
Probably.
watch.
That sounds just awful, but I'm sure it'll happen.
You're gonna see Trick Williams talking to Danhausen. You know what'd be funny as hell is if you like just in Backlash, you just happen to see Danhausen walking down the hall with like Trick Williams' chain and just like happy, like, and then you're just like, what happened? And then the gingerbread man resurrects. Like that would be that's how you do it. I mean,
that would be awesome if you did it that way. They're not gonna be at that level.
They're not gonna do it, but it would be great.
Funny about it.
It would be so funny.
Speaking of no level of effort, Brie and Paige versus the Irresistible Forces for the women's tag championships. I'm like, again, Brie and Paige, a non-tag team, are tag team champions. The Motor City Machine Guns aren't good enough to work for WWE. I'm just going to keep throwing that out there. And then this one rubbed me the wrong way because I hate the inconsistency with how they treat faces and heels and the way that the commentary. And this is also mostly Joe Tessitore's reaction because Paige at the end of this match cheated and took out Nia while the ref's back was turned, like swept her leg when she was going for the Annihilator. And then she went crashing down. They won. And the whole time Joe Tessitore was like, that was great ring strategy, great ring generalship. That was incredible. Such brilliance. And it was like, dude, she totally cheated. Like if that had been a heel, you would have been like, despicable behavior. How could they do? It's like, at least be consistent. Be consistent with that. The heel commentator can root for heels and root for bad behavior if they want to. The face commentator should call it like it is. Don't have faces cheating to win. And then don't have them saying, hey, that was really good strategy, actually. Hey, if the ref didn't see it, it didn't happen. It's like, everything about this was ridiculous. And it rubbed me the wrong way. And I think it was also just Joe Tessitore did this huge reaction about it, about how brilliant it was that they cheated to win.
They're just trying really hard to put over the champs is really what the way I see it, right? And it's
if you're going to put them over, have them win clean.
yeah. I mean,
there's ways to do it.
Don't get me wrong. I like Paige. I think Paige is great. I'm glad she's back. I'm happy she's back.
I'm not knocking Paige.
I don't want her out there. I don't want her in a tag team with Brie Bella. I just don't. I want her to be a singles competitor and, do just like AJ Lee, go for like the IC title, go for the US title, and then make your way back up to the world title. Like I'd rather see that climb. That's more of a story than like, hey, I debuted and because I partnered with a Hall of Famer, I'm gonna get the tag title. Like I just don't. I don't like that, So I mean, who knows? We'll see what happens with this race. Obviously, they're gonna have something at Backlash, but we'll see. It'll probably be like some kind of multiple team match where they can not get pinned and save face, so that way they can lose the titles and
drop
go
the
solo.
Titles. Yeah. Well, and I'm not knocking Paige. I think Paige is doing whatever they're asking her to do.
Yeah, of course. She's just back. She's just happy to be back. She's like, I'm back.
Happy to be back. She's doing whatever. I think it legitimately came up where Nikki got injured, and they were like, "Hey, what do we do here? Let's just take this opportunity." So she's just rolling with it.
Yeah.
But it does mute her. Like she's good on promos. She's got good personality. Like it's muting a lot of kind of her character by having her be like in this tag team, almost kind of taking a step to the side and letting Brie take the lead on things. So I'm kind of still waiting for real Paige to debut at this point. Main event was the Usos versus the MFTs that got teased earlier. It was the MFTs, Tala Tonga and Solo Sikoa representing for the MFTs. This one basically just ended with another DQ brawl at the end where Jacob Fatu attacked Talatanga. And then there was a big post-match beatdown, which by the way, post-match beatdown for every single match. I'm including the Royce Keys one because he got attacked backstage while he was talking to Jacob Fatu, and Tala came and took him out. So every single match had a post-match beatdown, which I'm like, guys, just do something else. But this was really kind of Jacob running wild, and he dropped Samoan dropped Talatanga through the announce desk, and then kind of stood tall, and that was kind of it. It was like Jacob's still, going for the title, and he doesn't really need anybody, and he's taking revenge and doing all those things. So it was fine. It just felt kind of unnecessary.
Yeah.
At this point, at least the way that I looked at it. But I'm also like, kind of what for me, it was like kind of what an underwhelming main event. Like I didn't really need to see all of like the Rock's family members wrestling in a match for the main event on SmackDown as a setup to a match that none of them are going to be involved in. I mean, they shouldn't be involved in. I assume the Usos are going to be involved in Roman Reigns versus Jacob Fatu.
Yeah.
But this is all being done. It's like this is all tied to that Roman Jacob storyline.
Yeah.
But none of these guys really have skin in the game.
Well, they're trying to vie for Jacob, is what they're doing.
Yeah.
I feel, which has me wondering, like, does that mean Jacob's going to win? Like, I mean, I wouldn't be mad at it. I'd be happy to see Jacob win that title because on paper, think about it, he's been built as a monster for the last 2 straight months on post-Mania, right? Roman is, of course, the most complete performer in the company. He's carried the company multiple years, but him using the tongue and death grip on Raw and then again on SmackDown, and the way they're just selling it, right, and giving it the fact that he took out the entire MFT faction by himself without help, and the way that they're building him up, like I feel there would be like a new era, so to speak, with the WWE Championship with Jacob Fatu, and I think that would be awesome because then I can see like Obafemi challenging, for that title, or Gunther challenging for that title, or like whoever, right? I would love to see Obafemi and Jacob Fatu. That would be an amazing match. But I think they're going to be in Tampa, so it's going to be loud. It's going to be crazy. I think that's I wouldn't be mad at a title change, but I don't anticipate it because
Metaphysics is so soon off of WrestleMania. Like, and Backlash really is always it does happen. It rarely happens that people, drop a title at Backlash. One of the world titles.
Never know. Never say
never know. We'll find out in a week. We'll find out in a week from yesterday. But yeah, that was it. 6 days to go for Backlash, everyone. What did you think? What do you think about the lineup coming up for Backlash? Or is there a match that you're looking forward to? Let us know in the comments. We always love to hear from you. Do you agree or disagree with the cuts, all the things that have been going on, where the storylines have been going? Who are you most upset about the WWE releasing Motor City Machine Guns, at least for me? But and the Wyatt Six, obviously. But yeah, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Leave us your comments, and that's what we got for this week. So until next time, I've been Michael D'Angelo. He's been El Commandante, Daryl Ortiz. Have a great week, everyone. We'll see you soon.